Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you are new to me, it's the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name is Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So that's why you're here, because that's what's going to be happening today. If you are not new to me, thank you for always tuning in and the continued support. I really do appreciate it. As you can see from today's title video, I am doing my June wrap-up. This is that time of the month where I get to go back over everything I read this month. The good, the bad, the ugly, the super sexy, the disturbing. You know how it is, but that's this video. So without further ado, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, and we're going to be talking some books. Okay, little housekeeping. I did not complete my TBR, so I will be drawing out of that jar, my husband's jar, at the end of the video. But the books I did not get to were my classic book of the month, Gone with the Wind. There was absolutely no way I was going to be able to pick this up and get it done this month. So it is what it is. Moving on, I will just draw out of my little wine glass. Who knows, I might draw it again. I did not complete my Buzzword Challenge book of All Quiet on the Western Front. This is for Books and Lala's Buzzword Challenge, and I'll link her video down below. We had to read a book with the word all in the title, and this was literally the only one that I had. And I'm not really super upset about it that I didn't get to it, because this is actually a reread for me. So I'm not upset that I didn't get to a reread when I had so many other really good reads this month. So the one book, however, that I am upset about not getting to is Lori Wick's Whispers of Moonlight. This is the second installment to the Rocky Mountain Memories series, and this is a series I would like to complete this year. So I will be most likely putting this on a future TBR, so you will be seeing it again, most likely. Okay, so now that that's done, let's break down this month. So my stats are as follows, and I'll put them over here so you can follow along. So I completed a total of 11 books this month, 6 physical and 5 audio. Not as much as previous months, but still really, really good. And I'm very, very proud of it. Page count for the physical books was 2,245 pages. My listening time was 48 hours and 3 minutes. And my average rating among all of these books was a 3.72. So not all in all, not a bad month. Not a bad month at all. I'm really not upset about it. However, I do tend to I feel like I'm kind of heavy on the higher numbers, so I try to be more critical this month, and I feel like it kind of dropped my average rating, which kind of sucked, but it's okay. Now, I'm going to do this wrap up a little differently than I have been. This is actually my 5th time filming this, and the first time filming it, the video was like almost over an hour, and it's progressively gotten smaller. I love that you guys stayed to the very end. I really, really appreciate you guys staying to the very end, but I understand that we all have lives and things to do, and you don't want to hear me talking about books for like an hour and a half. So I have a weekly wrap up. I've been doing this since April. So I will actually be linking my weekly wrap up playlist down below, where I go into full in-depth of every single one of these books. I'm still going to talk about them, but I'm not going to go into as much depth as I did in those. So please check that playlist out. I'll also link it in a little card so you can see it. Please go check that out if you want to know any and further in-depth of any of these books, more than what I'm already going to go into it. Okay? So first book that I completed this month was Highland Justice by Heather McCollum, and this is it. I gave this book a 3-star. It is the 3rd installment of the Sons of Sinclair series. It's a captor-captive romance, a very, very mild version of captor-captive, and it is the series will actually be completed next year. So I have to wait a whole nother year after reading this book. This was one of my highly anticipated releases of this year, and I was a little disappointed in it. Although I gave it a 3-star, I was hoping for more for this. This follows Gideon and Kate. Gideon is the horseman of justice and is very stern in manner. When it comes to laws, if you break a law, you do the punishment. It does not matter what the motive was. Kate, however, understands that the rules are there for a reason, but you have to understand the mindset of the person who's breaking the law and why it's there. Is the law there just to be a law, or is it actually just in purpose? There's a lot of philosophical undertones with this one, and that's why I was really, really excited about it. Because a little backstory about me, my degree is a bachelor's in history with a double minor in philosophy and gender and women's studies. And in my area of philosophy was ethics and morality. So this was right up my alley. I was super pumped for this. I was hoping for a lot of tension, a lot of friction, and I just didn't get what I wanted. I got a little bit of it, but it could have been so much more given the setup. I felt that Gideon and Kate were two sides of the same coin, and I feel like their chemistry would have been stronger had there been more friction between them, and there just wasn't. Gideon meets Kate while she is trying to help her sister who's fallen in a lake. Gideon jumps in the lake and saves her sister. They realize that her sister is actually getting sick because it's freezing cold water and she was in there too long. So they take her back to Kate's home. Kate realizes she doesn't have the money for a doctor or for medicine, so she pickpockets Gideon. She feels incredibly bad about it, so she goes to return it. Gideon catches her, and that's where this captive romance really sets off. And that's where we kind of have our little jumping off point. And then we're seeing Gideon put in these moral dilemmas where he's been brought up to feel a certain way about ethics, morality, and justice. But Kate is showing him that justice is not black and white. It is very gray. It is morally gray in sometimes, and it's very, very just dark gray in others. So there is the drama. It's just, it wasn't enough for me. But there are a few things that worked in this book for me. The series tie-ins were extremely strong. It fell right into place with the series. And I thoroughly enjoyed getting reacquainted with Cain and Joshua from the previous installments. That was really fun. And the ending results in the justice system through all the trials and tribulations that Gideon and Kate go through, what ends up being the end result. I really did enjoy the way he developed it and what he did with it. I thought it was very well done with that. What didn't work was this book was extremely slow of a burn for me. It was way too slow. It needed more of that punch. This book lacked in a lot of areas, but it excelled. The areas that it lacked, all it needed was just more of that, and it would have excelled. So it wasn't lacking, it was completely non-existent. It just needed more. The whole book just needed more. On the chili pepper scale, I did give this a 2 chili peppers. Let me see what I notes say. Yeah, a 2 chili peppers. I had to wait half the book for the first sex scene. And that sex scene, again, was not punchy enough, was not dramatic enough, was not hot enough, was not sexy enough to warrant waiting 50% of this book. Okay? Very tame in language, not very creative in positions, and they brought out the Kama Sutra, so that really threw me for a loop. I was like, what? You have the Kama Sutra and like you're doing missionary. The fuck? However, this book is the first one in this installment that performs oral sex on a female, so props to Gideon. Go. I always like that. And there was a lot of allusion to sex and quite a lot of buildup of language in that, but not like a lot of innuendo, but not a lot of actual put up or shut up kind of sort of thing. There was not a lot of shutting up. There was a lot of putting up. So, 3 stars. A little disappointing because it was a highly anticipated release, but I still really, really enjoyed it. The next book I completed was actually a carryover from the previous month, and that was Ruth Rendell's The Girl Next Door. I had to read a book with a directional word, and it was next. I gave this 2 star. I really don't have anything positive to say about this book. I did not like it. I didn't really care for it. It was not what I wanted. And I found out everything I need to know about the murder within the first chapter. It wasn't really, did knock my socks off. So I don't really have much to say about it other than it was on my self-destruct list before self-destruct by 2023. And even though I read it, it's still going to self-destruct. I'm definitely going to be unhauling this book after today because I just have no desire to read it, talk about it. So we're just going to move on. Because the next book we'll be talking about. So the next book I completed was my first 5-star of the month. And who's surprised that my first 5-star of the month was Sarah J. Maas book? I'm not. This thing was fantastic. This is The Court of Thorn and Roses. I was supposed to read this in May for the SJM read along, but I just didn't get to it, so it did carry over as well. And this was stunning. This is the second series by Sarah J. Maas, so she has The Throne of Glass, and then we have The Court of Thorn and Roses, and for this SJM read-along, we are reading everything in publication order. So at certain points we have to break off and flip between series, and this is where we got to break into this series, and I fucking love this thing. The SJM read-along is being hosted by Jen over the Beck Refuge, and I will link her channel down below, plus the announcement video. And this thing, okay. Beauty and the Beast retelling, okay? Positive point one, Beauty and the Beast is one of my favorite stories. And the fact that it was retold in a fucking brilliant way, perfect. Feyre and Tamlin, awesome characters. I fucking love them. I love the characters in this book. They were so fucking good. The burn in this book, it was slow, but it wasn't so slow that it was so annoying that it pissed me off. It was, because when I got the scene, it was worth the fucking wait, because that bite scene, yeah, it was great. When I was taking notes on this book, this is literally what I wrote. What worked? Everything. Everything worked on this book. I did not have a problem with this book, because what I have in my notes for what didn't work, that's a dumb fucking question. This book is amazing. It worked out. Oh my God, I fucking love this. I love this. And I cannot wait to pick up the next installment. Oh, so fucking good. I could gush about this book all goddamn day. Oh my God. So fucking good. It only got a 1.75 on the Chili Pepper scale, but that's because there's only really one major scene, but the build up to it, excellent. The dominant style language that Tamlin uses, fucking on point. And all the suggested situations, they definitely kept the party going. It was, this is stunning. I loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it, loved it. I cannot talk enough about this. I could sit here and have a whole video on this. I could have discussions on this. I love this fucking book. This is great. It was fantastic. All right. The next book I completed was The Highlander Sword by Amanda Forrester, and I gave this 4 stars. This was actually a blind date book that was bought for me by my coworker, Amy. She bought it off of Etsy, and it came wrapped in a brown paper package, tied up with string. It was super adorable, and she had no idea what I was buying, but she ended up buying me a book that I plan on continuing with the series because I really enjoyed this. This is the first installment in the Highland trilogy. It's a Scottish Highland romance, as you can see by the cover, and it features an arranged marriage and a miscommunication trope. And I know a lot of people don't like miscommunication tropes, but in this instance, it worked really, really well for this book because it was literally the main plot point of this book. But it wasn't miscommunication on behalf of the two parties involved. It was miscommunication by other entities not explaining what the fuck was going on. Okay, we did have a little bit of miscommunication between the two parties, but most of it was other entities. Because we have Isla and Payton, who are now in arranged marriage. Isla was raised to always know that she was going to be going to the church to be a nun. She never had to worry about marriage. And Payton is a warrior who has come back home and needs help is offering help to defend Isla's dad's lands. So Isla's dad says, hey, I'm going to hook you guys up. He calls Isla in, and Payton happens to be in the room, and Payton sizes her up and says, yeah, I'll take her. And then they immediately head to the church and get married. They've never even spoken to each other. The first words they're speaking to each other are their vows. And that moment is beautiful. It is a beautiful scene because although Payton's like, you're going to say yes, you have to say yes. When he looks at her and he makes this connection with her, he genuinely wants her to say yes because deep down inside, he is a lover. He's not always a fighter, even though people have used him and abused him, which you find out later on in the book. And it's a really nice romance, even though with the miscommunication trope, it still lends itself to work really well with this book. We feature kidnapping, escaping, fighting, drama, massive horseback race chasing. It's great. It's got everything. And I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed it immensely. The plot worked really, really well with each other because they never broke from that plot. There was some twists in here that I didn't see coming, and I was like, okay, didn't see that. The historical context was utilized very, very well. I really like it when historical romances use the historical setting to its advantage, but still remain respectful and loyal to what was actually going on at the time. And still, I like when an author can use their creative license and still convey their message, but still having respect of what actually happened in history. That's important to me, and I really did enjoy how she did that. The character development, because they develop on their own, not really with each other, but on their own, and by the time they're developed, they're perfect for each other, and it's fantastic the way that worked out. There was a few times in this book that I think Amanda Forster hit the nail on the head. The first attempt at consummating the marriage, I think, was excellent. This would have been Isla's first time, and she brought it to the forefront that she is scared, she is nervous. Plus, she added the layer that she has no idea what the fuck's happening to her because she's never been trained to know what the fuck's happening to her. And Peyton's just like, what do you want me to do? And she's like, I don't want you to stop what you're doing. I just need a minute. I need to gather. And I liked how she wrote that fear. She wanted it, but yet she was scared of it. And going through that experience, losing your virginity is kind of fucking scary. It could suck. It could be amazing. It could hurt like a bitch, but it's still scary. There's an element of fear with it. And I like the fact that it was written in there. What didn't work, there was multiple coitus interruption. I'm not really a fan of it. There was multiple, but in this book's defense, it was never for a stupid reason. And the only time that might have been construed as a stupid reason was brought to the forefront and made fun of. So I thought that was actually fairly unique. And I thought it helped further the plot furthered the plot development on with these coitus interruptions. It was never for something stupid. It was for something that was valid and needed to happen to get this plot moving. So 1.25 on the chili pepper scale, because literally there was only one sex scene and very flowery language. The multiple interrupts were probably the funniest, and some of the innuendos that were used were great. But all in all, 4 stars. I enjoyed it. The next book I completed was this guy. This is a Mo Jones Silver Swans. I want to preface this segment saying after I read this book, I needed a cigarette, I needed Jesus, and I needed therapy. And I still feel that way. This book was fucking insane. I gave it 4 stars. It's the first installment to the Elite Kings Club, enemies to lover, and a multi-layer thriller mindfuck if there ever was one. This thing is confusing from page 1 to the very end, but it is so fucking awesome, you do not give a shit. This thing was, if Rob Zombie and M. Night Shyamalan decided to create a teen movie, this would be their script. This thing's fucking fantastic. Oh my God, I thoroughly enjoyed this book, despite being legitimately confused 90% of this book. It was fantastic. We have Madison, who is a new student, and she's carrying a secret that she doesn't even know she's carrying, and she's caught the eye of the most influential boys in school, the Elite Kings. Turns out her new stepbrother is actually one of the kings. He's not the head, and he's not really like the second. I would say he's like the mouthpiece. So if you guys know what that terminology is for the mouthpiece of the grouping, let me know, because I don't really know what it is. But the Alpha Bishop has targeted Madison, and just this chaos ensues from there. Like, that's really the only clarity part you get from it. This thing keeps you guessing left and right, turning, going up and down. You love characters, and you start hating characters, and you don't understand this, but then you start understanding this, and to understand this, you actually have to understand this. You didn't realize you were understanding. I mean, it is just a complete fucking mindfuck, okay? But it worked. Mo Jones weaved this story so perfectly that this level of confusion was just enough to entice you and intrigue you, but not enough that you said, fuck this, I'm throwing this book out the door. I can't deal with this right now. What worked in this book was the timing of the revelations that we did get, because the way she did it, so you have all these enticements. Like, you have these like bar graphs enticements, and they're going up and down, up. They're going up, and they're kind of going down, and they're going up again. But when we get the revelation of this specific instance, this revelation explains this revelation, but you haven't gotten to it yet. So it doesn't really actually make sense until this enticement has reached its pinnacle. And then by the end of the book, you're kind of across the gambit here, and then she starts it all over again with this big fucking twist, and you're like, I just put this puzzle together This book is like a jigsaw puzzle you're doing backwards, you're doing upside down, and it makes no sense. The pieces just look like these jumbled little cardboard cutouts, but as they're coming together, you know the picture's gonna make sense, and then you flip it. At the end of the book, you have flipped it, and you realize it's just another backward puzzle. Yeah, that's what this book is. It's fucking insane. Oh my God. But the sex scenes in this book, 4 on the chili pepper scale. These things were hot. They were great. They were steamy. They feature a lot of dubious consent and a lot of psychological torture and attempted rape scenes. So there are some triggers in here, but they were handled very, very well. They were respected, and I did not feel super uncomfortable reading those. So I definitely, yeah, they were good. The only things that didn't really work for me in this book were the age of the characters, okay? The things that they're doing, and I know the age of the character lends to the drama of this book because of the things that they're doing. Do they have to be in high school? Why is it always gonna be high schoolers that are fucking twisted and sadistic assholes? So I kind of wish they would have been a little bit older. And some of the narration and points didn't really work the best for me. Sorry, my camera did something weird. Didn't work for the best for me. Lucy Fisher, I believe, narrated this book. If I'm wrong, I will correct down the down box below. And she narrated a previous book for me of Queen's Gambit, and her voice as Beth Harmon was spot on and perfect. She's got a very lower voice for a female and a very kind of breathy, kind of like that, sort of, but in a lower register. I can't really do it that well. So in certain parts, I feel like Madison needed that more like... Madison is a... I don't even know how to describe her. I just didn't picture that voice for her. I pictured her with a higher pitched voice for some reason. So I feel like certain parts it worked, but other parts it didn't. She wasn't... I wouldn't say she's not the best choice for it. I just think Madison's character and her traits didn't lend well with her voice. It was one of those voices that didn't match the description in my head. And there were a lot of unanswered questions that I didn't think needed to be there. I have no problem with unanswered questions in series. It lends to further installments in series, but there was a lot of them that I think you could have answered without deterring from the story. So, but I do have a final thought on this book, and this is a direct quote from my Goodreads review, and I wanted to read it because I'm really proud of it. And B, I think this really describes this book entirely. This book has so many layers, it isn't even funny. Except this book is funny. It's sexy, it's dark, it's twisted, it's mind-numbingly confusing, it's all-encompassing and engrossing, but yet horrifyingly erotic. Amo Jones did something exquisite with this book, but yet left us with room for more. This story is not over, and it ends just as confusing as it began, even once you learn what's going on. Yeah, this thing was... I liked it. I liked it a lot. I plan on continuing with the rest of the series. Definitely 2 thumbs way up on this one. All right, the next book I read and completed was Desperate Measures by Katee Roberts, and I gave this 4 stars as well. This was the first installment of the Wicked Villain series. It's a Disney retelling of Aladdin. It follows Jafar and Jasmine. It's a captor-captive, dominant, submissive relationship style book. Features exhibitionism, voyeurism, and heavy on the consensual non-consent, or C&C. If you are not familiar with that, that is the mutual agreement between partners to be able to act as if sexual consent has been waived. C&C is a very delicate topic. It's a very taboo topic, and Katee Roberts handled it perfectly. Jafar has successfully overthrown Jasmine's father and offers her a choice. You can either leave with nothing, or you can try to get to the door before I catch you. And if you get to the door before I catch you, then you can have your trust fund and you can leave. She chooses the chase because this book is Jasmine's sexual discovery and sexual realization that there is nothing wrong with being who she is. She has rape fantasies. She has abduction fantasies. She has captive fantasies. And Jafar, being the Dom that he is, brings that out in her and shows it to her that it's completely normal. He gives her sexually anything that she pretty much wants, and everything that's handled in this book, all of the kinks that are handled in this book are handled extremely well. This, I got a 5 on the chili pepper scale. Like, this is what I would define as erotica. There is some plot, but this is mostly about the sex. But the plot that there is beautiful. Jasmine is this caged bird, and now she's in this gilded cage, but is she really caged, or is she have the tools to be able to come out on her own? And through the domination and submissive relationship that she has with Jafar, she realizes that to submit is one of the strongest things she can do. Because she is so strong, she can do this other places too. So it's a beautiful thing in this book that Katee Roberts does. But what I really want to emphasize on this is that this book, for people who are into BDSM, CNC, this is definitely something that I think you will appreciate because of the way those topics are handled. They are handled with respect, with dignity. The safe word is an absolute forefront in this book. It is used and is respected. And so I really, really appreciated that in this book. I fucking loved it. I plan on continuing with the series. This was great. And for as much dirty talk in this book that there was, it was all valid. It was all on point. This book hit a lot of bars for me on the sexy fun times, and the way it was handled was exquisite. I thoroughly enjoyed this, and I would recommend this for a lot of people. So I definitely enjoyed this one. All right, the next book I completed was Alien Night Disaster Blind Date by Becca Brayden. It's this guy. This is the third installment to the Lemurian Knights Chronicles, and I only gave this a 3-star. This was not a highly anticipated release for me because I didn't even know the Lemurian Knights existed until this year, but this installment I was excited about because of who it follows. It follows Falden, who we've met in the 2 previous installments, and he's kind of been my favorite, and so I finally get to see his story, and I was a little depressed about it. I was a little bummed. This book features a lot of dominant language on behalf of Falden, which is very nice. Very, 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 very nice. I like it. But it features a heroine that I just didn't really care about. I didn't like her. And so that kind of brought the score down. I thought Falden deserved better. So we have Falden, who's the lead Lemurian knight, and Isabella, who's a reporter who is digging into secrets of the black market. And in her research, she has come across secrets of the Lemurian Knights. And Lemurian Knights are a highly guarded secret. So Falden's like, we gotta nip this shit in the bud right now. They find out about a meeting. She's supposed to be meeting with a blood market contact. He usurps the meeting and goes in his stead. And Falden, it's set up as like a date, and Falden's not been on a date in over 2 millennia. So he finds this blog about Good Guy's Guide to the Hookup, and basically it's Good Guy's Guide to being a total fucking douchebag. And that's exactly what he does, and he bombs this date. I mean, fucking bombs it, because Falden is a nice fucking guy. He's a nice guy, all right? He's a nice guy. He doesn't do this fucking macho bullshit. And when it is done, it's still done in a nice way, but he just doesn't know how to convey it. But the date gets ruined even further when they're attacked. Falden is injured, and so he has to go and get taken care of. But he can't go to the base because Isabella's with him, and she's a giant snoop, and Isabella doesn't trust him to take her to her kind of safe place until he promises, as he's bleeding out in their fucking car, bleeding out, about to die, that he won't take any of her stuff. And this is where my dislike for her really fucking started. I'm like, this guy's bleeding in your fucking car and you're gonna make him promise over some stupid shit? This is annoying. Now, granted, they are both trying to portray other people on this blind date, but it's just, they both know neither one of them is who they're saying they are, so let's just move on, okay? The sex scenes got 3 chili peppers. Brayden brought back the concept of telling you what they were gonna do and then doing it, and Falden did that, and it was epic. Oh, Falden's sex scenes are great. Those are great. He's a good one. I like him a lot. The tie-ins for this series were really, really well done. There was a little bit of the overuse of the word cock. Like, they didn't use any other term for the male genitalia. And it was kind of, just got kind of annoying after a while, but it is what it is. And they did have interesting environments. They used the sexual fantasies. You actually got to see the sex, and then you actually got to see the internal monologue sexual fantasies they had about each other, which I thought was really, really great. Falden's characters would save this book for me. I loved him. I did not like Isabella. I thought she gave or took more than she gave, and she demanded more trust that she never gave at all. She's a human and you're dealing with alien tech and you have an alien literally telling you not to use this fucking thing, don't use it, I would probably listen to the fucking alien. But no, she thinks she knows everything. I'm like, get fucked, lady. I don't like you. She kind of ruined it for me. Falden deserved better. He deserved better. So this one only got 3 stars, but I do plan on continuing with the rest of the series, but the 4th installment doesn't have an audiobook out just yet, so I'll probably have to physically read it. And this was narrated by Teddy Hamilton, and he did a fantastic fucking job as Falden, so Teddy is like 4 for 4 for me right now. Like every single audio, I think I've heard 4 audiobooks by him now, and like he's becoming a fave. That man's voice is amazing. Love him. The next book I completed was another 5-star book, and it's phenomenal. It is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas, another book I'm reading for the SJM read-along, where we read all of Sarah J. Maas' works in publication order. I will link Jen of the Book Refuge's video down below for the announcement video and her channel. And I actually got the pleasure of being on the live show discussion board panel, whatever you call it, for this book. I got asked to be on it, which was a total fucking blast. So I will link that video down below. It was hosted by Rachel Reads and Sings. I will link her video and her channel down below of the panel so you guys want to go watch it and hear us all gush about this fucking book. It's amazing. This thing was fantastic. 5 stars. So many character developments, so many plot developments, so much fucking shit happens in this book. I did sit and gush about this book for almost 2.5 hours. So I could talk all day till I'm blue in the face about this book. All you need to know is that this book is fucking amazing. It's 5 stars. Go read this fucking series. Sarah J. Maas is now officially like literally my favorite author. Kale got a redemption. Aiden's fucking revelation was amazing. And Rowan and Island's romance, hallelujah. Oh my God, but I needed more than a fucking kiss, Sarah. I needed more than a fucking kiss, okay? This book was a total fucking lady blue balls cock tease if there ever was one. Like this, oh my God. I need Rowan and Island just to fucking hook up already, because you gave me lingerie, you gave me really sexy dresses, you gave me some kissing, you gave me some growling, you gave me some body oil, you gave me everything and a kiss. That's all you fucking gave me. Fuck. Ugh. But yes, this is fantastic. I loved it. So many good developments. Oh, Manon's arc, fucking phenomenal. God, she's a bad bitch. And Lysandra, hell fucking yes. Bring her on. I love her. So yes, I got questions answered, but I got more questions asked. Sarah just keeps bringing it. She's like the damn Energizer Bunny. She brings it, gives it, and then it just keeps fucking going. This book was everything I wanted and nothing that I wanted. So it's perfect. This thing was stunning. I loved it. 5 stars. Go check out our discussion video. I will link it down the down box below. It was phenomenal. And I had such a fun time being on the panel. So all my lovely ladies that were on the panel with me, thank you for making my first panel experience fucking awesome. So yes. All right. The next book I completed was another 5-star, and this is Vanquish by Pam Godwin. So, okay, this book scared the crap out of me. I was turned on, scared, intimidated all in the get-go before I started reading this book, and I hated Van in the beginning of this book. I hated him. He was horrible. And by the end of the book, I wanted to fucking marry this man. Oh my God. Pam Godwin is a fucking genius when it comes to writing. Her way that she can craft a story and make you fall in love with the most deplorable characters is just, oh, she's fucking stunning. This is the 2nd installment to the Deliver series. This was a dual narration by Joe Raylan and Ryan West. It features things such as agoraphobia, which is an anxiety disorder that often develops after one or more panic attacks. Symptoms include fear and avoidance of places and situations that might cause a feeling of panic, entrapment, helplessness, and embarrassment. So a lot of mental health issues in this installment. We also see voyeurism, which is the sexual interest in or practice of watching other people engage in intimate behaviors, such as undressing, sexual activity, or other actions usually considered to be in private nature. We have rape in this book. We have bulimia, body dysmorphic disorders, domination and submission used as therapy in both participants. Like, this thing hits it on so many levels, This book was stunning. It was devastatingly beautiful. The romance between Van and Amber, how it progresses, is just amazing. And Van, Okay, so you see the cover here, right? This scene actually happens in the book, and when it does, it's just so fucking good. It is so good. Oh my god, I loved it. I needed a minute after it because it was so good. Because it's not even a sex scene. It's just this moment between the two of them where they realize that through their own mental issues, they have formed this fucking twisted, weird, beautiful relationship. And it's just, so good. This book is heart-wrenching. I cried at this book. I was pissed off at this book. I was turned on by this book. This thing is fucking phenomenal. Oh my god, I was scared. I just, so fucking good. So good. Yeah, this was phenomenal. So if you've not read the Deliver series, go check it out. But I have read where you can read them individually each other. Do not read this without reading the first one. I do not recommend that at all. I think it's a really bad fucking idea. It's a bad idea. Pam does a really good job of giving you kind of a baseline of what happened in the first book, but to understand where this couple goes, you need to understand what happened with Van, Liv, and Josh in the first installment, because it is so closely tied together. So yes, definitely read these in order, but this thing, so fucking good. Fantastic. So much stuff worked in this book. Like, I could gush about this book forever. It's so much stuff. Chili pepper scale, 4 chili peppers, very graphic, BDSM whippings, but you saw the therapy used with the sexualization. There's this one scene where she has this phobia about her female lady bits, vagina, however you feel comfortable saying it. And she thinks they're disgusting and they're ugly. And he puts her on a counter and forces her to look at it. Forces her to look at herself and describe herself as she sees it. And then progressively, over time, she starts changing the way she discusses it. And he does this over and over and over and over again. And over time, she changes the way she talks about it. And it becomes this beautiful thing that you should embrace. And it just and should be cherished and celebrated. And it's just fucking goddamn, it's so beautiful. That scene was awesome. And it wasn't even a sex scene. It was just a beautiful moment between the two of them, this first initial practice that he gets her to do, and it's just, so amazing. I wanted this to be longer. I wanted this, that was probably the only problem I had with this book, is I wanted to be longer, because you do see time jumps, because this is not just a week thing. I wanted to really see the climb in this book of this relationship. I did a really good job of what I saw, but I wanted more. I wanted more of this book. So much more. The next book I read was Rebel Rose by Emma Theriault. This is the first installment of the Queen's Council series, and this is a Beauty and the Beast, not retelling, because Beauty and the Beast has happened as we know it. The story that we know has happened, the curse has been lifted, and this is the aftermath. So this is telling us, did they really get the happily ever after? Because once the curse has been lifted, they are placed back into the real world, which is the French Revolution, storming the Bastille, Marie Antoinette saying, "Let them eat cake," Robespierre, the Reign of Terror. That's the French Revolution that they're dropped back into, where being a monarch, not the best fucking idea. And a peasant marrying a monarch, not really appropriate. So this thing, it hit me on a different level. We read this for my Red Witch and Bitchin' book club, and I actually liked it more than all the other girls, but I'm being the history person that I am, I resonated with this book a whole hell of a lot more. I gave it 4 stars. However, there is no romance in it, and I really thought there was going to be. There is not. This is also categorized as YA, so that might have been the reason why there was there was some kissing, but there was nothing else other than that. But I thoroughly enjoyed this. I plan on continuing with the rest of the series. Now, each installment is a different fairy tale, but the Queen's Council is like the conscious of all the previous queens, and trying to get Belle to realize, like, you're married a prince. You can still be, you're not the peasant anymore. Realize the strong woman that you are and be the queen that you were fated to be. And it's just Belle's perspective and trying to figure out where she fits in this world, because she was not raised in this world, and how to keep her romance alive with her husband, because it worked when they were in their bubble of the curse, but does it work now that we have all these outside influences telling them that you shouldn't work? So I really enjoyed all of that. I did give it, I think I already said that, I did give it a 4-star. Fantastic. Loved it. And the last book I completed this month was this guy. This is Lords of Pain by Angel Lawson and Samantha Rue. I gave this book a 2-star. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I had a lot of issues with this book, and I really wish I didn't, because it's a fucking sexy ass cover. I love this cover. I love it. I love the imagery on this cover, and it fucking sucks. But this is the first installment of The Royals of Forsyth University. It was an audiobook done by Bridget and Jake Bordeaux. Reverse harem demonstrates exhibitionism and somnophilia, which is a new one for me. That is a paraphilia in which an individual becomes sexually aroused by someone who is unconscious. I did not know that was a thing until this book. And it shows sadism. So we have Story, who is sexually assaulted by her stepdad, and her stepbrother finds out about it. Instead of blaming her stepdad, he blames Story for it. And then there's an altercation later on where Story is sexually assaulted by 2 of Killian's friends in a laundry room, and Killian watches and doesn't do anything to stop her. Killian hates his stepsister. Story convinces her mother to send her to a boarding school because she can't get out. She created a Sugar Babies account where she posted naked pictures of herself, and people paid her money. And in that process, she had developed a stalker. So a lot of bad shit has happened to this girl. But instead of going to the authorities, she gets so scared of her stalker that she goes back to 3 men who scared the crap out of her more: Tristan, Killian, and Raph, 2 of which have sexually assaulted her, and her stepbrother Killian, who hates her, and offers to be their lady on their fraternities, their lady to their fraternity. They are members of Lambda Delta Zeta, or Lords, on Forsyth University's campus, and they're kind of the head guys in charge. And one of the rites of passage is having a lady of the house, which is 1 female that's allowed to live in the house and basically be your sexual servant. So she basically signs up for a sexual serfdom. They write in a contract everything they can do to her, sexually, emotionally, mentally, physically, everything. And she signs up for it. After going through all this trauma that was not her fault, instead of going to the police, she goes back to these guys, and they are fucking awful to her. And the book, the way it was written as almost I'm supposed to feel sorry for her, and I don't. Because you did this to yourself. All that stuff prior, yes, that's horrible, that's completely wrong. This shit? No, I don't. I did not like Story as a heroine, as what she did with her own personal person. I felt she made really stupid decisions. Really fucking stupid decisions. These guys are assholes. They were assholes then, and they're assholes now. They even tried to tell her, you don't want to do this. We're still the same guys. They even warned her, and she's like, I can do it, I'm gonna sign off. What? But then at the end of this book, there's a twist. And that thing fucking hooked me. And now I'm going to read the rest of the series because you know what? That twist was that good. But I'm in no hurry to find out what happens. I plan on reading it, just not anytime soon, because this thing kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. I didn't even have the 3 males, Killian, Tristan, and Raph, the ones I'm supposed to hate. I didn't even hate them because at least they were the same fucking person. You know, they said, hey, we're kind of assholes and we're dicks. Deal with it. Story, on the other hand, I couldn't get behind her. I could not get behind her. And I know this is kind of a popular one, and it was a 2-star for me, but maybe further installments might change it. Who knows? Because I did see some growth in some of the characters, so maybe there is some redemption. I mean, this is the first installment, so it's world building, and so there probably is areas to go, but just the decisions that Story made, I just don't think were wise. I don't think they were smart. And if they had been like a last resort, had she gone to the police and the police did nothing, I could maybe understand this, but that wasn't even an option. And when she did try to go when the option finally came around going to the police, she didn't take it later on in the book. And it's like, she still didn't take it. I'm like, that's fucking stupid. Why? I did not understand the reasoning behind her choices. And maybe in further installments, I will. because we'll see more of this stalker that's been like terrorizing her life. Maybe we'll see more of it, but I don't know. But for right now, it's a 2-star for me. But that is my reading wrap up for June. That's everything I read and completed in June. I am in the process of finishing up A Game of Retribution. I will be finishing it today, and it's stunning, as I figured it would be, because it's fucking Hades. And I am also currently in the middle of an audiobook, Holland of the Soulless by Denali Day. Looks like this. And so you'll see all of my thoughts on that in my weekly wrap up, which will be going up very, very soon for the week of, I don't even remember what, from Sunday to July 2nd. I can't remember what Sunday was, but anyway, that's what I got for you guys today. So we're going to quickly draw out of my jars, and we're going to see what I've got going so I can build my TBR. So this is my husband's jar. As you can see, there's multiple choices in there. Oh, there's a coin in there. We'll get that out. So multiple choices, and we're going to see what I get. All right. This is the same one I fucking drew last month. God damn it. Read a series your husband helped finish. That is what this book is for, actually. So I will pick another book in a series he helped me finish. Maybe Touch of Malice? I don't know. We'll find out. And then my jar. My little cup of doom. Read a book that is set in a location you want to travel to. That sounds fun. All right, I can do that. All right, well, that's what I got for you guys today. I will see you guys all soon with another video, which will be my July TBR, and I have already started to formulate this in my head, so I got some good ones. So I will see you guys all soon with another video.